you guys can see it, but in the woods there, you can almost see the fog that's fallen over the trees here. That is ice fog. It is super cold. You can see back this way where the mountains are. You cannot see anything through there, and that is just straight fog. It's very, like I said, it's very, very cold. We are getting ready to get a pretty severe snowstorm. An epic one, they say. I believe there were certain parts of Alaska that were supposed to get over 8 to 10 feet of snow in less than 36 hours. Luckily, not us. We are supposed to get quite a bit, but not that much. So ice fog in Alaska. It's pretty cool. It's crazy looking. Welcome back, everybody. We are in the midst of this epic snowstorm that we told you was coming. So far we've got, I would say, what do you guys think? 8 or 9 inches?
10.
10?
10 inches. That's 10 inches all day long.
And we are in the midst of trying to move it off of our driveway and off of everything else. So we got a lot of work ahead of us. And so here we go. Hey guys, so you've seen us out here doing some snow shoveling. Like I said before, we got probably in between 10 inches or more, and it's still snowing. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it's still steadily snowing. Not real hard right now, it's lightened up a little bit, but if you're wondering why we're not using some big truck plow or ATV plow, it's because right now we actually sheared the U-bolts?
We sheared the U-bolts off of the snow plow on the ATV, and we don't have a lot of places to be able to push it, and a big plow can't fit up here. There's no place for it to push anything.
Yeah.
For
so
now.
We have to do it the old-fashioned way.
Open a can of man and do it by hand.
Well, if you see the size of these shovels, they're 55 liter. They hold a lot of snow, and they're like a snow sled shovels.
Yeah, they call them snow dozers or something like that.
They're very big. Snow. I mean, they're big. Yeah. They're
this big. Is the
that's the smaller version. The bigger version is right there. Right there, it's a 55 liter. This is the 35.
Smallest one. It's the one that, or the smallest one that we have. It's the one that I use because once it gets into the bigger sizes, I cannot lift the snow
really heavy.
I mean, it takes a lot of energy.
In knee-deep
to,
snow, I mean, we're talking about
that.
snow off of our little ATV trail. It comes up to through the low side of our property here. Once you step off of it, you're knee deep in that snow dozer sinks, and it's really hard. So you have to really, it's literally like pushing a sled through there by hand, full weight.
Or pulling some wood out of the forest, huh? So, anyway, we're gonna take a short coffee break
Yeah.
and get back at it because this snow ain't going nowhere until about May. So,
Coffee is always the answer.
right?
Coffee is good.
Yes. My car is buried. But you know what? Last year we got 2 foot or over 2 foot in a day. And they said that the locals said that that was really nothing, that sometimes they would have 3 foot days or 4 foot days. So unfortunately there were some people in the southern part of Alaska around, not necessarily Valdez, but
Prince William Sound.
Prince William Sound, in that area. They usually I don't think they get quite as much snow there. It's usually more ice, I think, because it's on the ocean, but I could be wrong.
Well, they get a lot of coastal weather there.
But they were supposed to get 8 to 10 feet of snow
That's buried.
in less than 36 hours.
It's abnormal for that area.
Yeah,
That's completely buried.
yeah.
This Connex box is only
9 foot
9.5 feet tall. So it would be almost up to the roof.
So if we were to get that, we literally would be completely buried.
We'd have to start tunnel
Yeah.
networks through here.
Our poor dogs would never find a place to go.
Well, a small product review for you guys that wonder what kind of gear that we have up here and what we use. This is an Olight S2R baton, and I just clip it to my hat. It's been clipped there since before the sun came up. It was frozen solid with the Olight battery in it, and it works just fine. This is a very universal. I can carry it in my pocket. I can clip it onto my hat. I can take it off and put it in my pocket. I can also put it on a mount of any sort.
Tell them about the turbo in the pocket.
Oh,
Burn
yeah.
a hole in your pocket.
Oh, yeah. These are so strong, actually, that if they come on inside of your pocket, they will burn a hole. This part right here, Olight has done a fantastic job with most of the gear that they make.
Does it do it on every setting or just the turbo?
Just turbo, but when you put it in your pocket, this button right here tends to get bumped. So what I do is I turn this that way. And this has the original Olight battery in it that's been there for years and years. I turn it so that the button doesn't rub against my body in any way, and the only thing that you'd have to be careful with is to not short that out. It has a quick magnetic attachment to charge. And I've had this for years, and I've used it in so many different applications that I would recommend it to anybody who wants a good flashlight that is very universal. You can put this on a weapon. They sell mounts for that. You can clip it to your hat, like I just said, and I've had it out here in freezing temperatures. Freezing. It was just covered in ice, and it works perfectly fine. I use it for everything. It is my go-to light. Now it's time for coffee.
Yeah.
One thing about the snow, though, is it's so peaceful, so quiet. Well, there's still traffic. Not nearly as much as there normally is.
It's
But
beautiful
there
out
are
here.
still people going up and down the road, which I'm surprised. They must have already plowed. They do a really good job of taking care of the roads here in Alaska, to be
Well, those
honest.
are plow companies mostly.
Yeah, there's the state, and then there's subcontracted plow companies, and they do a really good job of keeping the roads cleaner.
Yeah. It's beautiful here, though. I mean, coming
yeah.
from a place like North Carolina where, man, if you got an inch of snow, you got a heavy snow. Like, that was
Yeah.
they were shutting down schools. They were canceling work, all kind of stuff for an inch of snow. And here, I mean, it's wild, just blanketed overnight. 8, 9 inches.
Well, we got ice storms in North Carolina that would bring down power lines.
Yeah.
It would snap trees clean in half. We'd get an inch of ice, and it would terrorize the whole state. It
Yeah.
would shut it down. And there was a lot of problems with black ice because we got something called a Carolina wedge, which wasn't quite snow and it wasn't quite a wintry mix. It was a rain that came down and hit the asphalt and froze solid overnight. So we would have a lot of black ice, a lot of black ice there. And that's what the Carolina wedge was famous for, according to our weatherman Steve down there.
Yeah, you remember we had long way back when we had that bad ice storm and it threw the tree through the house.
Yep, threw a tree through our home, and we were out for probably a week or more, I guess. We were able to stay with my mother, which was great. And we didn't
I was
have,
little.
We didn't have anywhere else to go. Yeah, Corey was probably
Maybe 3 or 4.
maybe 3, 4. Yeah. Yeah, because you weren't even in school yet.
Mm-hmm.
So that was rare, though. We mostly would only get a little bit of snow. But like Corey said, it would shut down. And it's just because we didn't have the equipment there to mine the roads like they do here. I mean, they have 2 plows running simultaneously, one more toward the middle and one to the edge to clean off the entire lane and a little bit of the shoulder of the road at one time. And they have sections of the highways around here that they do, so...
Yeah. Well, that's why those plows they're rounded, they're like cupped and angled, because literally what they're doing, as they're plowing, the guy in the center lane is winging it to the next lane, and then that guy comes through and he catches it and wings it off to the shoulder.
Yeah. And, you know, if you live on the highway, which a lot of people do here, that means that your driveway is constantly going to be covered in, you know, lots and lots of treated snow, which almost
is worse and heavier.
is worse.
Well,
It's
yeah.
a whole lot heavier.
Well, it starts to freeze because it's been moved.
Yeah.
But
But
we didn't have
Whole lot
any.
heavier.
The state will come and plow your driveway
Yes.
out. You'll end up
With a
with
bulldozer.
massive snowbanks beside your edge of your driveway because they just plow the paved section of it. Their portion, what the state owns, but they will plow your entrance out.
Yeah, last year I think it was like over 20 foot high
Yeah.
on both sides.
They called the National Guard, and it was an emergency. They flew a helicopter up the roadways to see if anybody was snowed in from the side roads. There's a lot of side roads. There's a lot of off-grid trails where people have to have access to get to a state-maintained road. Not everything up here is state-maintained. A lot of people up here maintain it themselves, and they have bulldozers that you ain't never seen in the lower 48. I mean, this is heavy-duty snow machine.
Yeah.
Snow
Snowcats
removals. I mean, it's
those
stuff that you ain't
snowcats
never
are
seen.
mean.
It's
Well,
big stuff.
They're mean. Those snowcats are mean because they have that quattro system where it will supply power to independent tracks. So
Yeah.
if you get stuck in the front, it will supply power to the rear tracks and pull you out.
I mean, they're pretty sweet,
bad.
honestly. But
They're bad.
we don't have nothing like
bulldozers.
that. Obviously, we got this right here.
Yeah, we got snow dozers. They ain't got no snow
They
cap.
have a D9 bulldozer bucket attachment that is a snow blower. It is basically just a big snow grinder with a shooter on the side,
Oh yeah.
and they maintain it. There are some private communities out here that have opted to buy that and maintain their own side roads because they live so far out in the middle of nowhere. They maintain it themselves to get to a main road that is state maintained. So to get out there and be able to get out to any type of services, they have to have that kind of equipment, and those are things that you all also want to consider. We'd never seen snow like this.
No.
No, not ever.
ever.
And I had never even thought about being that far off of a state-maintained road and how much it would actually take to get there before you buy a piece of off-grid property. We are truly off-grid here. We have no power. We have no 220. None of that. We have a basic solar system, and we're pretty far up off of a state-maintained road, and that is all of our responsibility to remove that. And it is a very unforgiving terrain to get down to the state maintained road, which would not be conducive for a snow blower at this time. We would have to do a lot of snow packing and everything else before we just broke and clogged the tines with rocks and sticks and everything else to get down there.
No, you
See,
can't.
that's the thing. You never really, and last year we really didn't know
Yeah.
It's getting
what was
better.
underneath the snow. This year we've had a lot of time to look at the lay of our land and see where, you know, when the snow melts, where does the water go, which is just like it disappears into nowhere and then it's instantly dry, which is the weirdest thing I think I've ever seen. But so a lot of new things we've learned here for sure. It's got ice all over it, doesn't it?
Huh?
It's got ice all over it, doesn't it?
Well, it still pulls in a lot when I get that off of there.
Yeah.
Well, what's a lot this time of year? 50 watts? That's enough to run a kitchen light.
Yeah. Hey, look at the mountain over there.
Can't see it.
Nope. Then we'll have to clean off the roof of the Connex and the roof of the shed and the Shelter Logic.